I'm Sarah. I grew up Amish in Pennsylvania, and I left. And today I want to answer a question people ask in whispers because it sounds uncomfortable. What happens if an Amish woman is physically unhappy? First, I need you to understand what unhappy usually means when you're Amish. In the English world, if your body hurts or you're exhausted or you're struggling with intimacy, you might say it out loud, search online, book a specialist, talk to a therapist, try different options, and you'd expect privacy. In many Amish communities, privacy exists, but it's different. Your life is close-knit by design. People notice, family notices, church notices, and the first thing that happens when an Amish woman is physically unhappy is that she learns to minimize it. Not because she's weak, because she was trained to be tough, quiet, and useful. Physical unhappiness can look like constant fatigue from repeated pregnancies and heavy work. It can look like pain that never fully heals after childbirth. It can look like chronic back pain from laundry and lifting. It can look like untreated anxiety that settles in your chest like a stone. And yes, it can also mean sexual pain or not wanting sex, or feeling dread about intimacy and having no language to describe it. So what happens? Usually the first response is endurance. You push through, you keep cooking, you keep cleaning, you keep showing up, because in that world, your value is strongly tied to duty. And a good woman is steady. She doesn't draw attention to herself. She doesn't complain. And she definitely doesn't talk openly about private problems. The second response is home solutions. Amish families often try to handle things within the community first. That can mean rest if rest is possible, herbal remedies, a chiropractor, a trusted midwife, or advice from older women who've lived through the same thing. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it delays real care. If the problem is medical and obvious, many Amish do go to doctors and hospitals, but cost and practicality matter. Many families pay out of pocket or use community help, so people sometimes wait longer than they should. And if you're a woman who already feels like a burden, you can talk yourself into waiting. Another week, another month, another baby. Now let's talk about the kind of physical unhappiness that comes from relationships, because that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If a woman is physically unhappy because she's being controlled, pushed, hurt, or frightened at home, the pathway is even narrower. In a culture that places a high value on marriage staying intact, your first options are often spiritual and community-based. Talk to family, talk to a bishop, ask for counsel, pray harder, be more patient, be more gentle, try not to provoke, try to keep peace. And let me be very plain, that can help if you're dealing with normal marriage stress. But it can be dangerous if you're dealing with abuse. Because when the goal is keep the marriage, the woman's body can become the price of that goal. In many Amish settings, divorce is not an accepted option. Separation can happen in some cases, but it is heavily complicated by church rules, family pressure, finances, transportation, and reputation. Even when a woman is suffering, she may feel she has nowhere to go that won't cost her everything: her home, her children's daily life, her support system, her salvation in the eyes of her community. So what happens to her body when she can't talk about what's happening? It starts to speak for her. She gets migraines, she can't sleep, she loses her appetite or gains weight rapidly. She has panic attacks she doesn't have a name for. Her stomach stays tight all day. She feels numb. She gets sick more often. She feels older than she is. People might call it nerves or weakness or say she's run down. But what it often is prolonged stress with no safe outlet. And if the unhappiness is sexual, it can become a quiet crisis. Many Amish girls are raised with modesty so deep that even basic anatomy feels shameful to discuss. Sex education is usually minimal, so when intimacy hurts, or when she feels fear, or when she doesn't want it, she may not know what's normal and what's not. She may not know that pain can be treatable. She may not know that consent matters even inside marriage because nobody taught her the language of consent. She may think her job is to submit and be quiet. If she does try to speak up, she might be met with confusion, embarrassment, spiritual advice, or dismissal. And that's how a woman can end up believing that her discomfort is simply her cross to carry. But here's the part outsiders miss. Amish women are not passive robots. They are strong. They are observant. They are survivors. And many of them do find ways to cope and protect themselves within the limits they've been given. Some lean hard on female community, sisters, mothers, trusted neighbors. Some quietly space pregnancies as best they can. Some negotiate their lives in small ways that look invisible from the outside. Some seek medical care privately when they can, and some eventually reach a breaking point. Because if a woman stays physically unhappy long enough, two things usually happen. Either the body forces a stop or the woman does. A forced stop looks like serious illness, collapse, complications after birth, or depression so heavy she can't function. A chosen stop looks like going to family and refusing to continue the same way. It can look like leaving for a time. It can look like seeking help outside the community. And yes, sometimes it looks like leaving the Amish entirely. Leaving is not romantic. It's terrifying. You lose your structure. You may lose daily access to your family. You lose your language rhythm, your routines, your sense of being good. You step into a world with paperwork, phones, jobs, and choices you were never trained to make. But for some women, leaving is the first time their body finally unclenches because safety and autonomy are not small things. They are physical. So if you're watching this because you're curious, here's what I want you to take away. In many Amish communities, a woman's physical unhappiness doesn't get treated like a crisis at first. It gets treated like something to endure. And that can make normal problems worse and dangerous problems hidden. And if you're watching this because it's personal, because you recognize yourself in what I'm saying, I want you to hear one sentence clearly. Your body is not lying. If you are in pain, if you are afraid, if you feel trapped, that matters. You are allowed to get help. You are allowed to tell the truth. I'm Sarah. I grew up Amish in Pennsylvania, and I left. And I'm telling you this because the quietest suffering is often the deepest, and the women who carry it deserve to be seen.